One of my favorite things about spring are the bright colored flowers, the spring flowers that bloom every spring. So today we are going to make a bouquet of flowers out of paper using cupcake liners to be exact. On the next slide, you'll see exactly what you need to make these flowers. In this video, I'll be showing you about 4 different ways you can design different flowers. So let's get started. Okay, for this first flower, you're going to choose different colors and patterns of cupcakes. You can pick either 2 or 3 for this flower. You can either pick 2 or 3 different patterns and colors. In this flower, I'm going to pick 3. You can either choose a Chanel or a pipe cleaner for the stem, or what's kind of fun are these paper straws that are have fun striped polka dot designs. If you want to add a little detail, you can add a decorative colored button. You'll need scissors and then of course a glue gun. So what you're first going to do, if your cupcakes are white inside and not the color that is on the outside, you're going to carefully turn it inside out. So it looks like this. So you're actually going to do this to all of them. So just because mine are the white inside and I want the decorative part to be shown as the flower petals. Okay, now you're going to decide which one is going to be on the outside layer, and then the middle layer, and then the top layer. I think I'm going to do purple on the outside, the polka dot pink, and then yellow in the center. So I'm going to take the purple. Cupcakes have these ridges right here. Take your scissors and cut along a single ridge, stopping at the center circle. Make sure that you skip about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 ridges or folds before cutting again. As you can see, you're creating individual petals for your flower as you do this. Do the same cutting technique for the second liner that you'll be using. For the third liner, you're going to cut off the rigid part of the liner, keeping the round center part. So now we're just going to glue them together. So take your hot glue gun, make sure you have some help if you need it. We're just gonna put a little dab there and layer the 2 or 3 cupcake liners together. Now take your decorative button, where did mine go? Take your decorative button and use it for the center. This is such an easy craft you can do with your grandkids or with a group of friends. So there's what the flower looks like. Now we're just gonna add it to a stem. So take whatever stem you are using, a Chanel pipe cleaner or a paper straw. I think I'm going to use a paper straw. And what you're just gonna do, you're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna actually dab it to or put the glue on the straw and then press the flour to the straw. Make sure you don't touch the hot glue until it dries, because it can burn. Okay. Now one thing you can do, take a green cupcake liner and you can make a leaf. And a leaf for the stem, fold it in half and then fold it in half again. So it almost looks like a mini fan, just like this. You can even fold it again if you want a smaller leaf. I do just kind of a quarter fold. And I'm just gonna kind of figure out where I want to glue my leaf onto the straw. So it's gonna look like that.
Now let me watch on this fire.
And just hold it down for 5-6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should hold. And I'm gonna actually put a little glue right here so that the fold I made in the green cupcake stays in place. And there's our first spring paper flower. Okay, our second flower is again, pick several different shades and patterns. I've chosen some polka dot and some purple and pink, and then one green for the leaf, like I showed you before. And what we're gonna do is we're just going to fold each one in half, a quarter, and then an eighth. And we're gonna glue it down so it looks like a triangle or a cone. So it's gonna look something like that. But what I wanna see is take a full cupcake liner, flatten it, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just kind of glue each petal on top of that, just for stability as well as to help you control the petals a bit more, because sometimes it kind of is hard to handle small things. So what I'm gonna do is just make a line of glue with the glue stick and then glue the petal at where the center meets the rigid area. Okay, and then again, right next to it, and then pick another petal. And what we should see is that this full liner that we're using for backing will be covered by all the petals. Then take one more liner, whatever color you want, and we're gonna decrease it in size. So we're gonna just cut off some of the excess, and one was cut out before. And what we're gonna do is just cover that center part with the, kind of cover that up just like that. On this one, I've actually cut a teardrop shape yellow liner that's a bit smaller than the center, just to add a little bit more layers and colors to this flower, and glued it in the center, and then adding a decorative button for a little detail. Next, adding a stem. I would suggest using a paper straw because this particular flower is a little heavier, as well as some extra backing on top of the straw for some strength and durability. Okay, for this next design, I'm gonna post some screenshots of how to cut these different shapes, but we're gonna cut our liners in a way that it looks like this type of flower shape, and then another one that's this type of flower shape. This flower shape, you're gonna take your desired cupcake liner, you're gonna fold it in half, and then fold it again, so in a quarter, and then fold it in eighths. So just like our last flower design, how we folded it, so it looks like this. Now this is a tricky part. You're going to cut from point to point, but don't cut off the points, okay? So again, you're gonna cut from point to point, kind of like a teardrop, but don't cut off the points, because the point is what connects these shaped petals together. So it looks like a teardrop, and when you open it, you should get those 4 petals. Okay? Or it looks like a butterfly. Actually match it up. So we're gonna do that again. So there's another one. This one, you're going to, again, fold it in half. Fold it in quarters or half again, and then in eighths. So you're gonna start out your liner like this. But this time, you're just going to round the top of it. Okay, so next you're gonna take your 2 butterfly cut out flowers, and you're going to glue on top of each other, but zigzag so that they're layered like this. First off, with just a little bit of glue. And then take this cutout flower and put it right on top. And glue it down. You can even do it like this. And then add a little button. And then glue this to a pipe cleaner. There's a flower, and then you take your butterfly. So again, we're doing the same thing. Gluing a little dot in the center. Taking your second butterfly and putting it just a little bit zigzagged. And then taking your other pattern and gluing it right on top of that, just for some variety. And then add a button or a jewel of some sort if you would like. And then of course every flower needs a stem. So glue that straw right on the back, and then add a scrap piece of paper right on top of that, and that will help keep it more, it will strengthen. And then there's your other flower. So this one's easy. So you just take a bunch of liners of different patterns and you just stack them. So let's do like that. And so you can see the variation. Just layer them together. You take your pipe cleaner, and it might be easier to do this individually, or you might need to use scissors, but you're just gonna poke a hole directly in the center of the liner. And then instead of gluing it, you can kind of just twist that end of that pipe cleaner down like that. And then I'm actually going to just kind of have fun with the stem and twirl it around, maybe use it to even make its own leaf. So there's an option. Another option is picking your patterns of liners. Pick 4. No, I'll do 6. So 2 purples. And then, so there's 6. And what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna do 2 at a time of the same, and we're gonna cut them in half. So just go down and then across the center of the liner like this, and then so you're gonna have like that. So you're gonna do that to each of your liners that you're gonna be using for this one. Then what you're gonna do is do the same thing, is take a pipe cleaner and poke the pipe cleaner through the bottom of the liner, okay, just like that, and then alternate. You know, just kind of line them up. Again, just like the last design, you're just going to pull them to close to the edge of the pipe cleaner, not pulling them through. Fold that pipe cleaner over just to secure it. But now, instead of just leaving it like that, we're going to twist every other. Just so that there's some dimension, some layers in opposite directions. I have that one more layer. So just kind of make your own little design. You can add more if you want, but basically you've kind of made your own little tulip with variety of colors. The one, but because you split them in half, you're not going to get like purple and purple right directly across from each other. You can leave it like this because that's kind of cute for like a little bud showing through, or you can, like I said, glue a jewel or a decorative button like this. There you go. You've just made yourself a bouquet of paper spring flowers of different sorts. Be creative. You can do one of these 3 or 4 designs, or you can create your own design with cupcake liners. But happy spring and enjoy your bouquet of flowers.